Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com coming to you with the April 20th stock market report. And before we go on and look at the indexes and before we get all negative, I want to show you what SCON did on Friday and Monday. On Friday, do you see the huge volume? Look down. Do you see the bop? Didn't hit max green. What's it now? Max green bop. So in 2 days, it went from negative bop to green to max green bop. In 2 days, it went from 18,000 shares traded to an amazing 2 million. 2 million shares traded from an average of about 17,000. And then somebody comes in and gets 37,000. 00. I got to make sure I get this right. 518. Yeah, 2 million. So put the 00 here. They came in and they got 376,000. Then the next day they went in and they got 2 million. Well, they must like SCON a lot because that's a 2-day gain of 191%. And as you can see from the 2007 highs, it's still 72% off. So, folks, you're going to get 191% gains like that sometimes off the lows, but never like this. And the case that it came from such a flat basing kind of area and that it was on huge volume with max green bop still tells me that stocks are trying to bottom down out here. You don't get 191% moves on max green bop when a market's about ready to really fall over. However, today, that's what it seemed like. The New York Stock Exchange fell 4.75%. The S&P 500 fell 4.28%. The NASDAQ fell 3.88% on huge volume. However, Sun Microsystems, Java, is one of the biggest stocks on the exchange. And it's like, Sun W used to be like the top 4 that made up the exchange. But now it doesn't. But on an average day, it still trades 23 million shares. As you can see here, add the 2 zeros, 23 million shares. Today it traded 900,000, 374, 780 million shares. The stock has never traded 780 million shares before. So the reason why it traded 780 million shares is that it was bought by, I think it was IBM, right? I don't know. Who was Java bought by? Somebody, EMC? Somebody help me out. I don't know. You know out there. But that just goes to show you how much attention I pay to the crap that's on CNBC and that's in the news. Charts are how I make my money, or, sadly, how I lose a little bit of money right now. But, see, SCON, I don't need to know why it moved up 191%. I just need to know that it did. And if it can base out flat for 5 weeks in a perfectly flat base just like it came out of, have a breakout like before, I know if I go long, I can get a 92% gain the next day. That's all I need to know. So, and knowing that the NYSE volume, notice it was lower than the day before, huge sell-off, lower volume relieves the overbought condition that we were in majorly. S&P 500 also, lower volume, relieve the overbought. The NASDAQ, as you can see, 3.88% loss, much heavier volume thanks to JAVA. The S&P 600 pulled back heavily, 5.5%. The mid-caps pulled back 5.43%, which is just bad. And then the semiconductors, SP6, or the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, fell 5.74%. Now I want to go show you the IBD leading stocks. And just remember what I've been telling you, how they've been lagging. The stocks are lagging. They continue to lag, and nothing's changed. IBD 100, as you can see, however, fell only around 2.5%, right around there. Still, notice the relative strength line now of it. It ticked up. It outperformed the market. Way to go, IBD 100. It's about time. So that finally happens. Let's look at the IBD 8585 index. And it was down 1.7%, 3.4, 1.7, 5.1. So it was down about 2.5% also. And as you can see, that's an uptick. 2.5% is much better than the S&P 500's 4.28% loss. So that's good. Leading stocks held up, and that's good. That's what makes it look better overall, that leading stocks are holding up. So, that's a little positive. But the key thing to remember is that volume was lower, and that was the biggest thing, and that we were overbought. If you don't know how overbought we were, here's an indicator I want to show you. Number one, the VIX, because I haven't shown you guys these indicators in so long, and I don't know why. 33 though. The VIX was at 33. I had no clue it fell to that. I watched a video by Dan Fitzpatrick yesterday, and it made me go re-look at the VIX at 33, and I was like, oh my God, I had no clue that it fell to 33, below even the January 2009 lows of 37. I just can't believe that this darn thing was just at 90 in October and is already at 33, which is basically, to me, complacent as can be, because in 2003, whenever it was rallying, and it was not complacent, it was at 21. So whenever we were topping in 2007, right before then, we were at 9. So we're nowhere near the lows, but still, we're way off the 90s. But that came to me on Dan Fitz chart. Another chart that did not come up to me there, and I have seen before, but want to correct a little bit on, is that he showed the T2108 chart, which is stocks above the 40-day moving average. And the amazing thing is that yesterday it was at 92%, and that makes it 2 days in a row at 92%. And it fell, thank God, to 86% today. Why thank God? Because 92%, as you can see on a weekly here, and maybe on a 9-day now, up on a monthly. How about a quarterly? How about on a yearly now? Is that you look at this, on a closing yearly high, the 92.38 was recently the biggest. However, he went back to 1991, I do believe, to show you that it hit 91, to show you that it hit 94. And the 94 then launched a huge rally in the NASDAQ. Let's go to the NASDAQ CompQX yearly. Look what happened after it. However, anyway, so you can see after it hit 92%, what came in the NASDAQ. Oh, only a 681% run in 8 years. That's all. So going back to the T2108, he used that to show that, hey, we're going to sell off in the short term, because what that yearly doesn't show you is that we're going to have a sell-off because we need to relieve the 92% overbought condition. However, he didn't also show you that it's hit 92 before. So look, it hit 94 there, and as we go across, it hits 92 again when? In 2004. So if we look at 2004, let's look at 2004 to the NASDAQ to now. That's 2004 right there, right? Nope, there's 2004. So there's our last time, 2004, we hit it. And let's actually, yearly, let's go back out to monthly now that we go down to 2004. Okay, so let's go to 2004. Let's go to T2108. We see we're T2108 in 2004. Okay, so in 2003, oh, duh, I'm stupid anyway. Okay, so in 2003, it hits 92 right there. Now, let's bring up the NASDAQ from right there. What happens to the NASDAQ from that moment that we hit 92? We rallied into the 2007 highs. Was it 680%? No, it was 660. It was 67%. However, during the same time, we have an index called the Shanghai SC Composite that managed to rally from the 2005 lows to the 2007 highs of 480% in a very short amount of time, and it's actually much bigger than that. It's actually 530% if you go back out on a daily and look at the lows. But bottom line is the T2108 shows that back in 91 when it hit the highs, and back in 2004 when it hit the high, or 2003 when it hits the highs, the NASDAQ in 91 when it hit the highs went on to rally, cancel. And in 2003 when it hit the highs 92, it went on to rally. 2007 high, 64%, cancel. So now let's look at the NASDAQ from June on. Look, still plenty of time to rally. They say that you're going to pull back. Yeah, maybe. We got some pullbacks there. But however, the 92% this time might have been a completely oversold condition. And that's why we sold back, because of Java just being that extra wild card. Still, just keep an eye on the market. Like I said, if you look here, let's look at the NASDAQ. You can see it down. Still, what did the NASDAQ do to the NYSE? Positive divergence, only down 3.8%, while the NYSE and S&P 500 were down 4.75 and 4.2%. And don't forget, the IBD 8585 ticked up, showing positive divergence. And the IBD 100 daily, you can see it ticked up a little bit, showing positive divergence. Now there's only one other index I want to see to make sure there was positive divergence. No, that was negative, and then the SOX, I believe, was negative. So now we have the NASDAQ and the IBD 85 and IBD 100 now showing positive divergence. So unless we start to sell off bad, the leaders look good, and that's why you get stocks rolling off the bottom 191%. You don't get this in bear markets, and you don't not get this at the beginning of bull markets. So this is kind of what happens at the beginning of bull markets. MaxStream Bop charts, 191% moves in 2 days. So I got to continue to stay bullish. Anyway, I'm going to go and wrap it up there. Way too long. Only a part 2 next, and we are going to run right through it. Aloha.